Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please go ahead, click on subscribe, and also click on that bell to receive all the updates and activities on my channel. Alright, so today is Sunday, March 22nd. As everybody is aware, we are dealing with a national worldwide crisis regarding COVID and Corona, and common sense has kind of gone out the window, and we're dealing with a lot of issues because of it. I won't get into my feelings about it, but anyway, it's the end of the season. I haven't ridden at all in March, but we did get 5 trips under our belt. The Axis currently stands at 5,500 miles. The Adventure is at 46, and the Evo is currently around 300 miles. Not as many miles as I wanted to get on it with my daughter, but because of weather conditions, everything else. The only time we really got her to ride on it was during our family vacation in February. But she did great on it. She was very anxious and kind of nervous the first time she was on it, but once she got settled in, she did really great. And we ended up doing about 200 miles over the course of 2.5 days. So she did very good. As far as what we've done with the Evo, we put mirrors on it. We've put, what else? We studded it. We put on the electric shield. I also put a taller windshield on it and some handguards, because one of the things she complained about towards the end of the day is that she was cold. I'm probably gonna, so right now that's kind of like the mid height on the Evo. I am gonna look for a wide glide, and what the wide glide is, that's what's on the Adventure. So if you look, it kind of wraps around the console, and then it sits in between the mirrors and the console. It's really good at wind protection. The Adventure actually is a very warm sled to ride because of that windshield. So the Evo pretty much ran great. No issues. My daughter liked it, other than being a little bit cold on it. The Axis ran great, ran like a top, never had any issues with it at all. I put the most miles on the Axis. I gotta say, I probably put 1,200 on it. I really didn't look at the mileage at the beginning of the season, but right now it's around 55, and I'm trying to remember what it was at the end of last year. I gotta say, I put around between 11 and 1,200 miles. The Axis didn't skip a beat, not a single issue on it. So the only thing that we're gonna do, and I'm gonna wait until the fall, is replace some motor mounts, and we'll do some preventive maintenance on the Axis, and we'll check the bogies and the bearings. Actually, that is one thing I had an issue with. We did lose a bogie wheel on one of our trips. I came home, and the only thing that was left was the inner race attached to the mount. Somehow the bearing fell apart, and that's the only thing that was left at the end of the trip. The Adventure is another story. So what I'll say is it's running great, but it's not running as well as I think it should. And the main issue right now is fuel consumption. In comparison, my buddy Mike was driving this the last couple trips, and on the Axis, when we stopped, the Axis, which is an 800, took 5 gallons, and the Adventure took 7.5. And right now, we kind of calculated it based on what we can remember as far as fuel stops and mileage and everything else. And like I say, the Adventure right now, it's probably in the 9s somewhere as far as getting miles per gallon. And the range, at this point, I want to say it's less than 90 miles, because we were actually... we rode it at the end of the trip. We went out on a Sunday morning. I had about half a tank, and we were only gonna figure we're gonna do like 40 miles, whatever. We checked it before he left, and he was right around a half. So, and we were probably about 25 miles out, and this thing was flashing empty. The Axis was still around 30%. So we boogied home, and every fuel light and warning and everything else on this thing was flashing. we were concerned we were going to run out of gas. So I'm not sure exactly what the issue is. I have a feeling it's probably in the clutching. Because here's the thing about the Adventure, even though it's using a lot of gas, it's not fouling plugs. You can tell it's running rich, but it's not fouling plugs. So not sure what's going on. So I have a feeling that it's probably something to do with the primary or the secondary. Something is not right in the clutches. Either the springs are sacked out, or we have something going on with the weights or the helix, which is causing the sled to kind of drag. And because one thing I noticed on it ever since I bought this thing, it's not as crisp on the throttle response as you think it should be. It'll get up and go, but there's always been a kind of a bog. And I thought I had those issues resolved. I put a new belt on it at the beginning of the year, cleaned the power valves and everything else. I said, all right, this should be good. And really, the issue never kind of went away. If anything, it kind of went worse. If it's not the clutching, I have a feeling maybe that one of the 4 injectors is leaking, and it's resulting in excessive fuel consumption. So we'll check that out over the summer. So, but that's gonna be probably like the main thing we're gonna go after. The the XCR, other than bouncing around the house and a couple times, probably put maybe 10 miles on it, just because we never had any snow where I am in Massachusetts. So we got off to a great start in late November and December, where we got about 1.5 feet of snow, and that was it. We didn't get anything over 2 inches of snow the rest of the year. The season out here, as far as Massachusetts, was pretty desolate. So what we're going to do on the XCR is we're just going to kind of continue what we've already done. We're going to kind of, what we're going to do is we're going to put the correct shocks in there, put the Fox shocks front and rear in the back. Going to continue the restoration on the rub strips. Got to fix that. Stripes, and what else was I going to do? Some other odds and ends. So one thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to install these dash plates. There's a person called Shane Jackson on Facebook that sells these, and basically he'll custom order pretty much anything within reason. And they're kind of like a throwback to the dash plates that players sold for the Indies back in the 90s. They're not a true copy, but they're pretty close. So we'll be installing those, and I'll have a video on that. As far as the XCR and the pipe project, they are installed. I have posted a couple of videos of it running with it. So there you go. So they do sound great. So I'll leave it at that. They do sound really good. Whether or not they're trail worthy, who knows? Probably not. But you know what? This sled is just gonna be used for bombing around my house and my dad's house and whatever. So, but another thing I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the engine out of the chassis on it and kind of do like a full clean and whatever underneath the plate and make it nice and clean and everything else. So, kind of that's what we're gonna do for the XCR for this year. Oh, one more thing. I need to pull the chain case off of it because that's another main reason why I never did anything with it this year, because of time. If I wasn't working, we were going up on the weekends. And what happened is at some point the seal in the lower chain case on the lower end of the chain case on the back side failed, and all the fluid came out. So, not really having a lot of time to deal with it on the weekends, and with no snow, I kind of let it sit. But that's one thing we're gonna do. I'm gonna pull the chain case out and replace the seal and everything else, and fix that issue. So I figure if I'm doing that, I might as well pull the engine and kind of do a full clean on it. All right, and I think that's it. You know, it was a great season for the snow that we had. My brother got back into the sport with me, which was great. It was great to have him on the trails with me again. We had a great time. He bought a Ski-Doo Renegade 1200, a 2004, I think, with about 9,000 miles, and that sled ran great for him. So, unfortunately, both times I went with him, I forgot my GoPro, but we got pictures, but no footage. So, I have footage of Emily on the Evo. At some point, I will post that. I also have footage of various other trips on the GoPro. It's just a matter of going through and trying to figure out something that's actually interesting to watch. A lot of it is just raw footage. So, all right. I hope everybody is having a great season. Up in the Northeast, is like I said, it's pretty much done because of everything going on, non-snowmobile related, and everything else. You know, a lot of places are closing down for obvious reasons. So I hope everybody's having a great day. Use common sense as far as your day-to-day activities, and you know, we'll get through this like everybody does. All right. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments box. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day. See ya.